What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight. Hope everyone's had a great start to the week. Hope your Tuesday is just fantastic. And I hope you guys are ready for another live 2025 fantasy football mock draft with you guys. With the Catch fam. We got some stuff to chat about tonight. We got some free agent signings. We got holdouts. We got off-season drama, ladies and gentlemen. And we got Pete in the house. What's up, man?
Not much. Football is like here, man. Mini camps officially mandatory mini camps. They got to show up to these things. Started today. Lots of news, couple of signings, lots of holdouts. Maybe not so many on the offensive side on the ball. But yeah, lots to talk about. Let's hop on into it.
Going to be a fun one for sure. We've got 5 spots open. I will drop the link in the YouTube chat right now, and it is live on Discord as well. I'm going to send out final warnings. We are going to start once full, so make sure you're paying attention. And we'll be getting going momentarily here. 5 spots, and we'll be rocking and rolling. But yeah, like we talked about briefly there, a lot going on the past 48 hours or so. So let's start with the signings, because I feel like those are probably a bit more fantasy impactful theoretically. So we've got Nick Chubb to the Texans on a 1-year deal. $2.5 million, can be worth up to $5 million. And then just a few hours ago, J.K. Dobbins signed with the Broncos on a 1-year deal, $5.25 million. Don't know if it's kind of similar where there's like incentives or whatever, a little bit fresher, so we don't have maybe all the details there. But nonetheless, this will impact guys like Joe Mixon and RJ Harvey. How is it going to impact both players? We'll find out in a couple months, I guess. But, I do think, like, when you look at both these signings, like, the floor is there for both Harvey and Chubb, or excuse me, for Dobbins and Chubb. But the ceiling is really why these guys got signed, I personally think the Dobbins signings is a bit more impactful. Like, I think Dobbins is going to get touches for sure.
Yeah, rookie running back. Harvey's a rookie.
Yeah.
Sean Payton systems complex or whatever, kind of a nonsense thing.
He's
going to get his touches.
Yeah, I'm almost worried that backfield is going to be similar in a sense to what we got last year. Like,
yeah,
where it's just kind of this, like, is a headache for fantasy, and there's spread out touches between McLaughlin, Estime, and last year Javonte Williams, but in this case it's going to be Harvey, now Dobbins, and maybe Estime or McLaughlin at times.
And who even knows how much Denver's going to run the ball?
Yeah.
They just may not even run.
Exactly. Like, they did not run the ball that much. I mean, Bo Nix led the team in rushing last year, all right, I think I thought we were full. We're not. We got 1 spot, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, it's a good point. I'm going to look up, let's see, most rushing attempts by NFL teams, because I wonder where the Broncos actually ranked. I'll have it in 1 second here. I mean, okay. I mean, they're 13th. It's a little bit higher than I maybe thought. Mm-hmm. All right, let me get the mock started, and we'll keep chatting. Let's see. Draft order randomized, and let's go, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but their yards per carry was really bad.
That is probably definitely true. Yeah, they had 112 rush yards per game, 4.1 per carry. Is at least what I'm seeing. But sometimes StatMuse is weird.
That's what I got. I'm on NFL.com. That's what I got.
Just 12 rushing touchdowns too. Like,
Yeah.
for context, they had 2 less total carries on the season than the Chargers, but 5 less touchdowns. So, but generally speaking, Sean Payton's system is a throw first system. And I mean, I think that could be a big part of this too, is like which one of these running backs is going to have more opportunity through the passing game. I wonder.
I think both of them gonna have good shots in the screen game.
Yeah, it's a lot of. It's gonna be. This is a problem. It's gonna be a lot of speculation, and like, no one's gonna really know. I mean, Dobbins only had 32 catches last year. I almost drafted J.K. Dobbins,
J.K.
8th
Dobbins.
overall.
Nice.
Let's switch it up. Give me some neighbors tonight, but I like Amon Ra right there too. But yeah, I think that the Dobbins signing is worse for Harvey than the Chubb signing is worse for Mixon. I think Chubb can definitely have a role, but I think he's more of a depth piece here. He went from being historically one of the most efficient running backs ever in the NFL in terms of yards per carry to averaging like 3.3 yards per carry last year coming off of the injury, and then broke his foot at the end of the season. So I'm not as optimistic about Nick Chubb, like just walking right into a massive amount of touches. At the same time, Mixon is a little bit up there in age and dealt with slight injury last year as well, but he still had 245 rushing attempts, 52 targets, 36 receptions. So I don't know. There's been kind of like this buzz on Nick Chubb in the past 48 hours with the signing. I'm not like going out of my way to draft Nick Chubb anytime soon.
I think we got it. Nick Chubb's a guy. Keep your eyes on him. We want to see it before we believe it, because he can be. I mean, he came off a major knee injury last year, and the Browns were bad, so takes time. He's fully healthy at least, but Houston's offensive line is really bad also, so doesn't maybe help.
And that's the thing. Like, I've gotten that kind of like feedback too. Like, he passed his physical. I'm like, that's fine, but he's still coming off of 2 major injuries in the past like 2 years. So obviously, like, the drop in efficiency from 2023 and any season before to 2024 is one thing, and it's like, I don't think he's going to be any more efficient. But you do make some good points. Like, the Browns were not good last year. It's hard to be efficient with what the Browns offense was last year as well. So I think that's fair. But I also think, in a sense, he definitely lost a step. But like, I could see him having a big like goal line, work situation role with this team. I don't like. I think Mixon maybe drops back a little bit for me. Right now in sleepers, ADP is 46, being drafted right before Omarion Hampton, Chuba Hubbard, Monty, Connor Pacheco. Like, I still think just due to the nature of the Texans offense, I don't think he drops back that far for me. Like, maybe to the Monty Connor area, like a few spots. Maybe go with a little bit more upside with, like, in theory, with a guy like Hampton. But I don't know.
It's hard to downgrade a guy that's just super. He was one of the best. He was the best fantasy running back, I think, when he played like the first 6 weeks of the season. If he wasn't hurt, he was definitely the most efficient. And so
he still finished as a top 20 back, 11 touchdowns on the ground, over 1,000 rushing yards, 4.1 yards per carry, 36 grabs for 309 receiving yards. So, but yeah, week 1, 26.8 fantasy points, albeit against the Colts. But
we didn't know the Colts were like that, though.
But then, to be fair, when he came back from injury, 27.2, 26.4, 23.4, 16.6, 17, 35.3 against Dallas. So, yeah. I mean, he didn't really fall off until the semi-championship and the championship in terms of fantasy. And only had 10.6 in week 15. So, game script did not benefit him. But, yeah, let us know what you guys think. Excited about Nick Chubb? Are you not excited about Mixon now, or vice versa? How do you feel about the Broncos running back situation as well? Definitely these, when we have nothing to talk about for weeks and then something like this happens, you guys are going to hear a little bit of everything. So, all right, let's see who's in the chat. Then we'll talk about some of the other news. Albert, what's going on, man? Luis, good to have you in the house tonight. Glad you were able to join. What's up, Chase? Cameron, good to see you. Good to see everybody tonight. Ray, what's up, man? Yes, I did change the icon. Let me know if you guys like it. It's still kind of like up in the air, work in progress, but I felt like the original icon, which is like you see it on my sleeper icon there. It's like 4 years old. I don't know. I just felt like it was time to change things up. All right, let me make this draft pick. Kind of hoping I could get a third wide receiver. You know what? Let's go heavy wide receiver. I still can. Let's go Marvin Harrison. But yeah, let me know if you guys like it, what you guys think. And there's still time to play with it throughout the off season here. Luis, an absolute honor to have the first pick. There you go, 1.1. Chase, good to see you. What's up, bro? Cameron, I've never in 3 years of streams taken JT. Did you take him? You did at the 210. Hey, look at Cameron drafting the semi-normal team tonight to start.
Oh my God, Z Fighter's killing me right now. Can't believe I'm
happens.
running back over here.
Ooh, I like that Nico B-Tom start for you, though.
Yeah, I would have loved James Cook right here. I would have went Brees James right here.
I like Brees Hall in this range personally.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go K9 here too.
I like Kenneth a lot here too. James Cook, an interesting player.
He showed up.
About.
He's a good man. He showed up. He don't want to get fined. That's what I'm talking about.
I hadn't seen this till right now. Okay. Because like I was reading some pretty negative reports, like he sold his house in Buffalo, and we had all these like this bad negative talk out of James Cook. It was really starting to become a little bit more of a concerning story. But yeah, I feel like James Cook has no leverage, really.
None.
I mean, he had a great season last year. He had a very good season. His sophomore year, he was good enough as a rookie. I mean, just imagine if Josh Allen didn't rush for the amount of touchdowns he rushes for. James Cook had 16 rushing touchdowns last year. Like he could have easily had 20 if Josh Allen
easily 20.
I mean, Josh Allen had 12 rushing. I think Ray Davis definitely had a couple too. Hold on the clock here.
He has a little list. Cook has a little leverage. He is in the last year of his rookie deal. They didn't have the 5th-year option because he's not a first-round guy.
Yeah.
He's got the running backs. You're just gonna have to take a 3-year deal, 27, 28, 29, and you're probably gonna be like a flyer after that. But you can get paid, i.e., Saquon Barkley money. I don't know if Buffalo wants to spend on their offense at this point.
Yeah, I personally feel like they I don't know off the top of my head their cap situation.
Never pay defenses. Basically, how the NFL works these days.
I feel like personally they should pay James Cook, but I've always kind of been that boat of like pay your running back, and like I know we're coming off this season with like Barkley and Henry and like players like that, even other guys like Josh Jacobs, for example. I don't know.
They got no cap. They're in the negative for the next 3 years or the next 2 years, and then they're second from the bottom in 2027. So they do not have money to spend.
So that's probably impacting things here for sure. But also I feel like, is cap even like real? I feel like half the time teams don't have any cap space, and then there's just a way it happens.
We were about to see real cap restrictions here with New Orleans, but Derek Carr just bails them out, retiring over there. Yeah. If he just stays and say, I'll sit on the bench, I can't play and cash this check, they're stuck for another 2-3 years.
Yeah. So we'll see. Let us know if your guys' level of concern in James Cook. I wasn't like for quite a few weeks. I wasn't really concerned about it at all. I just felt like it was going to blow over, but I've been kind of back and forth lately. But on that topic, we've got a couple holdouts. I mean, Terry McLaurin's the only offensive player that and Johnny Smith. That's the guy I'm thinking of. Johnny Smith holding out, wants a new contract from the Dolphins, which I don't really blame Johnny Smith.
Yeah, he had like the best year of his career
Yeah,
last year.
it's actually pretty unlikely that he repeats what he did last year. But go get your bag. I mean, he had 884 receiving yards. That's 10 yards per catch, 88 catches, 8 touchdowns. Pretty dang efficient off 111 targets. But maybe we see Johnny Smith get traded, but I feel like the Dolphins should try and re-sign him. I mean, Hill's
The
getting up
problem
there.
is he already did get a bag though from New England.
Yeah, like he had a pretty recent contract, right?
Yeah, 21. He signed a 4-year deal, 50 million.
Because he got that contract bled over because he got traded.
Traded.
Technically, yeah.
Well, they extended him also. They gave
Yeah.
him a 1-year extension, so he's making
Okay.
3.5 this year, and then he's got 3 void years after that. So he's still going to get paid by the Dolphins. There's going to be a cap hit on the Dolphins.
See that's a weird situation for sure.
It's all the rage, baby. It's all the rage. Void years.
Ooh, I am not in love. You know what? Just for the sake of tonight, I'll take Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Usually, I like to not take a player who's like on the debate stand just to see where they actually end up falling. But there we go. We get Mixon and Harvey back to back in the 5th for anyone curious. And look at ADP. Didn't really change too much. So we'll see. But yeah, we got Terry McLaurin. I feel like Terry McLaurin for me is like, I feel like Washington will get that done. We'll find out. But I don't really see any world where they like trade Terry McLaurin. I know that's like a trendy thing that some people are bringing up. I don't think that Washington's going to trade Terry McLaurin. I think they'll get it figured out.
Yeah, I think that's probably a safe bet.
I think Jaden Daniels especially wants Terry McLaurin back. I would not want to watch Debo as my team's wide receiver 1. I'm fine with him as a wide receiver 2. But yeah, and like
just like he could be a wide receiver 1, but like not the kind of wide receiver 1. You know how that works. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, we like briefly talked about this before stream, and Terry has put up with a lot. And he's never really had a real quarterback, and he has a career year the year that he finally has a solid quarterback. So, I absolutely think he deserves a new contract, and the wide receiver market kind of has reset over the past 2 or 3 years. And, I don't, it doesn't have to be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL or anything, but yeah. So I think that I don't think we have not streamed together since Aaron Rodgers became a Steeler. I streamed Saturday night, but that's the thing.
That is the thing. It looked really weird. It looked really weird today seeing him in like the really crappy practice jersey.
Well, he's all in. He has told
got married too.
He got married.
He's locked in. He's all in.
Very mysterious, Like I think honestly, I think the signing is fine. The contract isn't crazy. I think it's good for DK Metcalf. Like, I don't think that it puts Metcalf I think it puts Metcalf exactly where we anticipated he would be. I think the Steelers will be probably what the Steelers are every year this year. Like, it doesn't change a ton for me. I think personally, like, I think the Steelers should have tried to hold on to George Pickens. Like, I feel like this team would look very different if they had Metcalf and Pickens lining up, and then Freiermuth, and then like Calvin Austin as a wide receiver 3, and then a rookie running back and Jalen Warren. Like, I think they got quite a bit to work with there. And then like maybe they do trade for Johnny Smith. And like you got, and they already have Freiermuth, right? But Arthur Smith likes 14 tight ends at all times. So um I don't know. I think that like Metcalf and Pickens would have been scary in a lot of ways to line up against. So I don't know. And it would have felt like they were going a little bit more all in, but at the same time, I mean, Pickens would have been up for a contract relatively soon because in his
Yeah, right
fourth year,
after, and then
Pickens
they're
and
not going to re-sign him because they got to
yeah,
pay T.J. Watt, which
yeah, he's holding out too.
yeah, they're going to have to pay him because he owns
Yeah,
the franchise.
yeah. So, I like in terms of fantasy, I think it keeps all those Steelers players right about where they were being graded. Metcalf goes at the 4.6 tonight. I'm not jumping the gun on anybody crazy. Caleb Johnson goes in the 6 tonight. It's fine. Doesn't really change a whole lot for me, but Chase, does Harvey go down in value? I think so, a little bit. Yeah, I like right now. I think I'd rather take a chance on Dobbins later in drafts than draft Harvey in the 5th. But I just personally, I think like it's just gonna be a little bit back and forth, a bit inconsistent. Um, and that's it. Like I just think this backfield is gonna be inconsistent when it comes to fantasy. And you guys know I've been a pretty big fan of RJ Harvey this offseason, landing with the Broncos. But yeah, I think Dobbins does hurt Harvey's value. I do think he will get touches. All right. My guys, 3 in a row there. Myers, Reed, and Shakir. Go Brian Robinson. Andrea, good to see you. How are you doing? K9 already missing practice with an ankle. Yeah, I mean, that's just Kenneth Walker fashion. It's expected.
We are not worried about that. We do not care. Mike Tomlin.
We will but didn't he have the ankle issue at the end of this year last year?
Who knows? Because end of the season, everybody's banged up, and if your team's out of the playoffs, everyone's like, "Yeah, I'm out with something."
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I do kind of traditionally say at this point in the offseason when it comes to veteran-esque running backs, wide receivers, I don't really panic. He'll more than likely be ready by week 1. But I mean, Kenneth Walker is a guy who's probably going to miss some time at some point this year. But I still really like where he's going in drafts.
They're just out there for a stretch, vet guys,
Yeah.
especially like running backs, receivers. I mean, CJ Stroud's throwing. I heard that's something. Or he plans on throwing.
Guess the shoulder issue not bothering him. Who do I want to draft? I'll take Najee. I got a little Frankenstein running back room over here. Let's see. Andrea says she's not worried about James Cook. Bryce going to pass on Burrow there, right? Was going to hit wide receiver after a huge running back start. I mean, I would say that's kind of close to where Burrow's usually going in most mocks. I think Baker in the 8th. Fine.
Yeah, I love Baker in the 8th. I think that's just a super weird wide receiver tier too. Like
it is.
Travis Hunter, we have no idea. Jordan Addison getting suspended probably. Chris Olave, does his brain work? Like, is he dead?
Yeah.
Like he got scrambled eggs, and then Roma Dunze, meh, and then Calvin Ridley should be solid. Should be.
Yeah, I actually like the I like the next tier more. Ridley, Jennings, Myers, Reed, Shakir.
Myers, Shakir.
I personally am like pretty high on Addison where he goes in drafts. Like I would think you have to draft him anticipating the suspension and like be okay if he does miss games this year.
Yeah, he's your wide receiver 4. That's a perfect spot
Oh.
for him to be in.
But it is kind of a weird tier. Like you feel like you might have to reach for a guy or go against ADP. They're okay running backs. I mean, I like Swift there, but it's a perfectly fine place to take Burrow. But he will be playing catch up here when it comes to wide receiver. But that's gonna happen. I mean, you go forward running backs, that's gonna happen no matter what. So, all right, into the end of the 8th round. The other kind of thing going on is that the Colts are just slowly falling apart. Anthony Richardson dealing with that shoulder injury. I did read today that he did get his second opinion, and it was the same as the first opinion. So it does not look like he needs surgery, because the first opinion was like, you don't need surgery, and then everyone was like, he's getting a second opinion, and they are going to say he's going to need surgery, and he's not going to, there's not a lot of optimism, right? There's like tons of reports coming out like get ready for Daniel Jones to be the starter, which could certainly still be a thing, don't get me wrong. And like
Dimes,
personally,
baby.
I feel like Daniel Jones should just be the starter at this point, but I mean, is
Anthony
it like
Richardson, just learn wide receiver, man. Terrell Pryor, perfect example. Played wide receiver, had like 1,000-yard season or something like that the one year. Or just he was decent. He was decent.
this was one of your very opinionated calls
Told
last
everybody,
off season.
not
Yeah.
it, not a guy. I've seen enough. I knew, not a guy. You don't learn to play quarterback in the NFL, guys. You gotta play quarterback in college.
Where's Cats? Are you out there, man? Where's our bet from last off season?
Think of a guy like Trey Lance. That's why Trey
Yeah.
Lance didn't work. Never played in college. The
Yeah.
only guy that I think Jordan Love had a very low game count, but again, he sat for 3 years before they rolled him out there, and I still think Jordan Love's kind of overrated. But
Jordan Love is
biased.
man. It's my guy. That was my guy in that bet, right? I had Jordan Love. You had Kyler Murray. Cats had
Yep.
Anthony Richardson. All right, I'm about to be on the clock. I guess I'm going running back. I don't really love the wide receivers here. Oh yeah, Michael Pittman also a little banged up.
Jonathan Taylor healthy.
Jonathan Taylor is healthy.
He's healthy. There we go.
All that matters. Thoughts on Chubb with Mixon? Yeah, obviously we talked about this quite a bit to start the stream. I personally I think Mixon's fine. Maybe gets pushed back a little bit in ADP. I probably should have not drafted him just to see kind of where he might end up, but I feel like maybe like Harvey or Connor goes in front of him. Maybe one of those rookies if someone's really high on them. And those rookies as in like Henderson, maybe Judkins. Monty could maybe go in front of him. But I feel like he's not going to fall back that much in drafts right now. I just don't envision Chubb taking away a massive amount of touches here. But we'll see I think he'll have a role, don't get me wrong.
Kind of hate everybody here.
But I don't know. This is that time of year where like people are going to definitely overreact to things because there's nothing to react to. There's like a lot of talk like about dynasty leagues and like, there are going to be all these trades for Nick Chubb now. And I'm like, why would unless you're like in a championship boat for sure, Who's seriously going to trade for Nick Chubb right now in Dynasty? But we'll find out. I mean, I do think like it's going to be a good offense. I think the Texans could easily be the best offense in that division, the most winningest team in that division again this year. So we'll find out. I mean, that could certainly be good for Chubb. Got my guy. Give me Bo Nix here.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Too Rich and Bree TV? Which side are you taking? Flowers, Coleman, and Pat Bryant, or Judy in a 2026 first? I probably lean Judy in the first personally. I don't know what's really happened, but my love for Zay Flowers is kind of slowly going down. Like I feel like Flowers is fine, and that's it. I think it's definitely part of a better offense than Judy, better quarterback situation, but the offense also doesn't throw a massive amount. And so I think that Judy is not that far apart for me in Dynasty ranking overall. See, Flowers is age 24. Judy is a little bit older, age 26. Now, you also look at it like you take away last year, like Judy has been nothing but disappointment. So
The most disappointing, maybe, wide receiver.
I was like out on Judy going into last year. So I mean, there's that. I'm not really a big Keon Coleman guy either. I know there's definitely some like, members of dynasty communities who are higher on Keon Coleman and like, but like the offense like just doesn't really support the wide receiver position, or pass catchers in general. And I don't really think that's going to change this year. Like Khalil Shakir is really the only guy benefiting right now. Maybe if Cook departs, it'll change because
Maybe we see a lot more of Coleman in the red zone this year.
Yeah, I just don't know if Keon Coleman really passed the eye test for me, but there's always time, which is the thing with Dynasty is like Rashad Bateman's a good example of like Bateman went or Judy even like two guys who went from being like just not relevant to now they have value in Dynasty. So it's a pretty even trade overall. I do like Pat Bryant, but he definitely has some issues as well as a prospect. And I wouldn't read too much into the Sean Payton coach speak because Sean Payton is like notorious for coach speak. Like he compares every current player to a former Saints player. Because he compared Pat Bryant to Michael Thomas. It's like, okay.
Slant boy? Come on.
There's like a lot of examples of Sean Payton in his
Bo Nix is Drew Brees.
Yeah. I guess he called Bo Nix Patrick Mahomes.
I hate Sean Payton. So
we know you hate Sean Payton. Yeah, it's a touchy subject.
He's so fake. He's so fake. Him and Russell. I can't believe him and Russell Wilson didn't work out. They're just the two fakest people in the league.
I am still perplexed by the ending of that season because I really thought the Broncos could have and should have made the playoffs that year, but then they were just like, no, we're good. Let's pull Russ out of here. But yeah, this trade is pretty close. Dynasty players in the chat, let us know. I think it also depends. Like, are you rebuilding or contending? And how like aggressively are you contending? If you're rebuilding, I'll take the first. Contending, I'll probably keep Flowers and see what happens with Coleman, and maybe Pat Bryant gets you somewhere as well. It's very close. If you guys ever watch Matt Harmon, he's got some really good individual breakdown videos on almost every rookie wide receiver. And I would encourage you guys to watch those if you're kind of like close in trades and there's players here like Pat Bryant popping up, and it might help form your opinion. But overall, it's a pretty fair trade. In terms of most of the styles of my dynasty teams, I'd probably take Judy in the first. All right, let's see. I'm gonna reach a little for Rashad Bateman.
You suck.
Taylor likes Jerry in the first. Down on Flowers, but I feel like it's even. Yeah, it's pretty even overall. J Dubs, good to see you. Did update the logo. Let me know what you guys think. Can be honest; it will not hurt my feelings. Good to see you in the house tonight, J Dubs. Guys, in the Dynasty rookie draft, can we get the draft done, please? I usually don't. I want rookie drafts to last as long as possible. They're fun, but I want to see who I get in the 4th round too. I've never been this excited for a 4th round pick. And for you guys in that rookie draft, I did want Pat Bryant or Terrence Ferguson in the 3rd round, but I'm okay with Alec Manor. I actually really like that. I got Trayvon Henderson, Cam Scatabo, and A.O. Manor. So I like this draft quite a bit. Pete, Scatabo or Bashal Tootin? Who you taking if you're on the clock? I ended up going Scatabo, but
I probably would have went Tootin.
I was very close to going Tootin.
The Giants are bad. I don't know what the Giants are going to be. Cam Scatabo is going to burn fast and quick. He lives life at both ends of the candle. And people he wears thin on people apparently. He's basically a frat dick, is what I heard from him. He's just like a dickhead, and not many people like him. Bashal Tootin could be your starting running back, and he is just. If we look like, he could be Bucky Irving. Like, he looks like Bucky Irving. He runs like Bucky Irving, and it's the same offense we saw Bucky Irving break out in.
Yeah, and I generally speaking, I would say I think Tootin has a better path to more play time. I'm not there are a lot of people who are just like Tyrone Tracy's out. I think Tracy is still the clear-cut RB1 there, and I think that Bashal Tootin has. We've talked about Tootin quite a bit, right? And the comparisons with, Liam Cohen at head coach, who's offensive coordinator of the Bucs last year, Bucky Irving, all this stuff, right? But sometimes I do this thing in dynasty settings where I kind of go against what I think I should do. And as that draft pick was approaching, I was like, I'm going to go Bashal Tootin, but I also was not expecting Scatabo to be there. So I was like, I'll go Scatabo and see what happens.
Cam could get every red zone touch. He could just be your goal line, the ultimate poacher, I guess. Yeah. Even if it's poaching, he's gonna get tough yards for you. So he does have a massive touchdown upside.
Sure. Yeah, it's a tough pick for sure. Taylor says Pacheco feels like a steal at ADP if he ends up being healthy, or am I alone in that? Yeah, I like where Pacheco's going. He started off last year great. Goes in the 7th round right now after Pollard and Aaron Jones, right before Brian Robinson and ETN, as well as Tracy, at least in this mock. I like him in that range quite a bit, especially as an RB 3 or 4. I do think that it's an interesting backfield. They went out of their way to sign Kareem Hunt to a 1-year deal, and then they went out and signed Elijah Mitchell, and then he got deep in the dynasty community, some guys looking at Brashard Smith out of SMU, the rookie. So, there's other players here, but I think Pacheco was not just 100% when he came back last year. And I think he will be better than what we saw the second half of last year and through the playoffs as well. So I like him at his ADP. But the writing's also on the wall for something to go wrong there. And, Andy Reid system and other guys, and we'll see. I actually like Kareem Hunt in like a best ball format, but it depends if maybe like Elijah Mitchell more, whatever. May have thought I had more running backs than I did in this draft. Oh wait, in the in this draft. Well, we'll see. Let us know if you guys want team reviews. We got a couple more selections here, and then we'll go through some team reviews. I think my team's okay. I don't hate it. I'm kind of weak at tight end, to say the least.
I'm weak at receiver.
Maybe it could have gone one more receiver over a running back, but right there at the 9-8, I really like Tajay Spears. I really like Rashad White. They're both there, so I'm actually pretty high on Najee Harris at his ADP as well. Easy 3 thoughts on Judkins and Dunze. I think Judkins is fine. I do think that Dylan Sampson's a really good prospect as well, and you still have Jerome Ford floating around, so like, there are touches that could go elsewhere for sure. But it's not really like what concerns me more is like, what are the Browns? If Shadur Sanders and or Joe Flacco or Dylan Gabriel, like whoever you think it is,
Kenny
can
Pickett.
like have this offense going, then like, even bad offenses are going to have productive fantasy players. We've talked about Judy for a bit. It's like, Judkins has the most upside out of that backfield. I just don't know if I'm going out of my way to particularly draft him. Great prospect, the Sampson pick is like really what hurt me looking at Judkins more than anything, because I think that Sampson's a really good prospect. But then, like, once again, it's just like, what are the Browns even, So I kind of lean towards more like the Pollard to Brian Robinson range. But definitely an upside pick that could 100% pay off. I'm not huge on Rome Odunze. I'm a little worried. I kind of fall in the like area of he was drafted by the year ago regime, and he could certainly he could 110% have a huge role that Ben Johnson really wants to use him with, or he could kind of start to filter out in a sense as well, or he could just be like good enough. I just don't really know what it looks like. They add Luther Burden. They spend really, really early draft capital on the tight end. I don't know. I'm just not a huge Rome Odunze guy. I like Calvin Ridley in that range. I like Jacoby Myers. I like Jaden Reed. I like Khalil Shakir. I even like Jawan Jennings. So it's you're not spending a ton of draft capital on them. If you're there with them, it's fine. But yeah, we'll find out. All right, let's do some team reviews. Let us know if you guys want a team review or not. Great drafting tonight, everybody. Let's see what happened. Taylor at the 1-4. Purdy and Fields. I mean, in redraft settings right now, generally speaking, I think just going 0 quarterback is the right thing to do. And it's a perfectly fine quarterback room for me. Love Ingram in the 10th. You guys already know that. Jacobs, Junkins, Pacheco, Benson. Perfectly fine. We're practicing a double flex format, full PPR. So for me, the wide receiver position is always going to outweigh the running back position. It's kind of a hero RB team with Jacobs, who I think Jacobs, is as good as any other running back you'll get in the second round, essentially. So whoever filters in at RB2, fine. Lamb, Rice, Sutton, J-Mo, Pearsall, Higgins. It'll work. So you got Fields or Purdy, then Ingram, Jacobs, whomever at the RB2, Lamb, Rice, Sutton, J-Mo. Good starting lineup. Can fix the holes throughout the season through trades or the waiver wire. Looks good enough to me. Chase Brown, not to be confused with running back Chase Brown. What's up, Chase? We got Drake May. Man, the Drake May and redraft hype is really getting up there.
Full on hype.
I don't know if I'm there. I just don't know if I'm there. Like, if I'm going to go zero quarterback, I don't know. I would rather fight for Drake May on the waiver wire if it is a thing. Like May was like fine. Like against Houston and Jacksonville. I mean, Houston, their secondary is pretty awful against fantasy quarterbacks and wide receivers. Their front seven was quite good. Run defense was good. Jacksonville, that's fine. You got some okay games. Tennessee, the Rams, Indy, not the strongest defenses. Arizona, Buffalo, okay defenses. Looking at fantasy points scored. And once again, we don't have more than 20 fantasy points in a game.
New regime, new weapons, new toys. It's all better. Josh McDaniels, offensive guru.
Was there really a stud fantasy quarterback season under Mike Vrabel? Like we had Ryan Tannehill.
I mean, pretty good, but it's the Brady offense. It's McDaniels. They're bringing in the old Patriot offense.
I hate McDaniels.
Offensive coordinator. He's great. He's a horrible head coach.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, running back room is good. Trayvon Henderson, Stevenson, Gibson is it'll work. Diggs, Kyle Williams, Pop Douglas. I think Matt Collins is fine as a wide receiver 4 or 5. Kendrick Bourne's probably fine as wide receiver 3. So there's definitely guys here, and I like Hunter Henry. I mean, I just don't know if I'm there for redraft yet. We'll see. Kraft and Gesicki is perfectly fine. Bucky, Trayvon Henderson, Warren, Spears. I love Spears in the 9th. I think that was a great pick for you. Puka, Higgins, Metcalf, Waddle, Shakir, and Wandale Robinson. Very good wide receiver value tonight. So, that's the thing. If I go Drake May, I would have gone Murray, Purdy, Love, or Fields before Drake May over Gesicki. Nonetheless, you're starting Drake May, Tucker Kraft, Bucky, Hendo, Puka, Higgins, Metcalf, Waddle, or you could put Shakir in there if you wanted to. Good enough, Chase. All right, Ray Gamers up at the 1-5. Lamar and Kyler. Nice. Laporta and Andrews, also nice. Gibbs, Monty. Little Sonic and Tails, right? Stevenson, Eckler, Hunt. Feel like I like Stevenson, Eckler, and Hunt at their ADP for kind of handcuff type guys. But I feel like I want someone different than Monty here. You got a lot of Lions players here. Lad McConkey, Terry, Myers, Cup. Once again, in a double flex format, I want to walk away with at least 5 receivers, but maybe Laporta Andrews kind of solidifies that in a sense. Lamar or Kyler, Laporta or Andrews starting with Gibbs. I mean, honestly, you're probably starting Gibbs and Monty. Then Ladd, Terry, Myers, Cup. I mean, you could work with this team, but traditionally the way I would draft in this format would worry me a little bit. All right, Cameron's at the 1-3. What did we do tonight, Cameron? Okay. Jaden Daniels, Trey McBride, early draft capital on quarterback and tight end after going JJ and JT. So you got JT, Caleb Johnson, Jordan Mason, Bashaw Tootin, and DJ Giddens. Very, very Cameron backfield there. JJ Worthy, Jennings, Golden, Trey Harris, Hollywood Brown. It's almost like a best ball team where like you've correlated Justin Jefferson and Jordan Mason. I don't know. I guess that's the only best ball reference I've got. You got JT and Giddens as his handcuff. It's a very Caleb team. You're starting JD5, McBride, JT, Caleb Johnson, JJ Worthy, Jennings, Golden. I guess you've also got Worthy and Hollywood. I do feel like Tootin in the 11th round was a good value for you for sure. So yeah, I mean, you always have a strat. I'm not against it. All right, Luis was at the 1-1 tonight. Hurts and Kittle. Say no more. Chase Brown, Pollard, Scatabo, Dowdle, Dylan Sampson. Chase, Garrett Wilson, Ridley, Mooney, Kyle Williams, and Jack Besh. I feel like everything's pretty solid. And then like the depth is just kind of like guys that might work out. A lot of rookies in here. But let's see, you'd be starting Hurts, Kittle, Chase Brown, Pollard, Jamar Chase, Garrett Wilson, Ridley. That's super solid. And you got some guys who may end up on the waiver, may not get production right away, but you could work it out between waivers. And I mean, Darnell Mooney's probably your second flex there. Mike, what's up, dude? We got J-Lo and Njoku, Bijan, Kyron, Aaron Jones, Bigsby, Algier, JSN, Tet McMillan, Devonta, Romadunze, Ayuk, and Egbuka. Not too bad here. So we're starting J-Lo and Njoku, Bijan and Kyron, JSN, Tet, flexing Devonta. Can't really flex. I'd probably flex Jones, but you could flex a Dunze. You got a good bench here as well. And handcuffed to Bijan. Solid. All right, let's see at the 1-6. Herbie in the 13th round. Probably always fine. Top 15 fantasy quarterback. Still a run first system. But Herbert did get kind of going late in the year at times when they actually threw the football. Bowers in the second, so you're good there. Barkley, Chuba, Charbonnet, Garando, Dobbins. It's a true hero running back team, but I like Chuba as the RB2. I do like Charbonnet where he goes. Hill, Flowers, Olave, Reed, Downs, Shaheed. Pretty good value at receiver here. He kind of handcuffed Chris Olave too with Shaheed added. So we're starting to Herbert and Bowers, Barkley and Chuba, Hill, Flowers, Olave, Reed, or Reed, Downs, Shaheed, some sort of combination. So I actually like this team. Your upside is kind of at like RB1 and tight end. I think it's pretty solid across the board. Jonathan Rodriguez is the 1-2, but that was Mike. Let me know if there's a different team because I don't recognize that username. All right, Bryce is at the 111. Z Fighter goes heavy running back tonight. A-Chain, Henry, James Cook, Hampton, Ray Davis. Probably a smart pick right now. Like if for some reason you were drafting this early, targeting Ray Davis if you drafted Cook, just in case. I do really like Ray Davis where he goes in drafts as well, just in terms of like handcuff territory. Burrow, Kelsey, Warren, good enough. Kind of a zero receiver build. Pickens, Debo, Coleman, Johnston, Tillman. Yeah, this is kind of what you have to do with this type of build is just go for pure upside at receiver. So you're gonna have some shots in the dark. But starting Burrow, Kelsey or Warren, A-Chain, Henry, Pickens, Debo. Then I'm probably flexing Cook and Hampton. So this strat is a little scary, but if you hit on the right running backs, it can be really, really good for you. All right, Bryce at the 1-9. What's up, Bryce? Oh, so this is where you're talking about you thought you had more running backs. Should have gone with the rookie running back in the 13th. Gone all rookies here. All right, Josh Allen and Mahomes, Hawkinson. Probably fine there. I'm not super high on Hawk at his ADP, but he's fine. Genty and Harvey, London Adams, Hunter Diggs is your starting lineup. Then you have Burden, Jadon Blue, Keenan Allen, Jalen Wright. I mean, it's an interesting team. So Allen, Hawkinson, Genty, Harvey, Lundo, Adams, Hunter, Diggs. Yeah, I mean, it'll work, but you just don't know some of this production out of guys like Harvey and Hunter. It's going to be there right away. It's going to take time. What are things going to look like? I mean, Harvey and Hunter are kind of how often is Hunter going to be playing defense? Harvey, the Dobbins signing. Interesting team. Like I wouldn't have drafted Burden or Blue with this type of build. I would have gone for like there's only so much there, I guess. But even like Rondell Robinson, Bateman, or Shaheed over Burden, like Ray Davis or Dobbins over Blue, just I don't know. Maybe I don't want to go Harvey and Dobbins, but it's fine. I still like Jadon Blue where he goes. So all right, reverse at the 110. I think we did. I think we reviewed every team. I should have gone in order, but that's okay. All right, Goff and Kincaid. It'll work for going late round QB and tight end. C-Mac, Swift, ETN, Javonte, basically hero RB here. I feel like this is like the most hated running back room you could possibly draft. C-Mac, Swift, ETN, and Javonte. But I kind of like it. I think it could pay off, actually. Amon-Ra, Evans, DJ Moore, Judy, Kirk, and Pittman. Chubb is here as well. Okay, yeah, so a little bit of a worrisome running back room, but a lot of upside. Well, some might not say upside, but there's definitely opportunity for all these guys to get more playing time than some may expect. So I think this team is like solid. Remember, you can come out of your draft just with like a solid build and then fight on waivers. So we're going Goff, Kincaid, C-Mac, Swift, Amon-Ra, Evans, DJ Moore, Judy. Like, I'm okay with this team, actually. All right, let's see. Pete. Baker. Jonnu. Loveland. He drafted a Bears player. Okay. I'm fine with all that. Nico and B-Tom, like, if I'm drafting at the 112 and I start with Nico and B-Tom, I'm probably ecstatic. Because, I mean, B-Tom does kind of fall in this range a bit more often, and Nico does at times, but it's really because of Genty and A-Chain going. And Amon-Ra.
Yeah, Genty was the only thing I would have, like, if Genty's on the board, I would have taken Genty there. Other than that, those two are exactly what I like at the back end of the first.
Nico and B-Tom could easily go before, pick 10, depending on who you're drafting with. And these are two guys that I just love going into the season. So I love that start for you. Godwin and McMillan. Yeah, my guy Marvin Mims on this team. You got a little white boy wasted. Finished the draft with Adam Thielen. Okay.
Panthers turnaround team, man. Fantasy monsters coming out.
I don't hate Thielen as a last draft pick. I don't hate him in best ball as well. Hall, Walker, Connor, Tracy is pretty solid too. I kind of like this team. Baker, Jonnu, or Loveland. Brees, Walker, Nico, B-Tom, Godwin. I'm probably flexing James Conner. Mm-hmm. But I like McMillan, Mims, Thielen could all have their own roles. And then maybe Loveland is flexible or Tracy, of course. So I like this team actually. I'm trying to think because I'd like to see like maybe another earlier round receiver, but then like you're either sacrificing running back depth, which you kind of needed, or you're just not going quarterback or tight end as early. But Baker is a great value here. I still like in terms of dart throw wide receivers, like I'm good with these three guys. So pretty solid. All right, what in the world did I do? Got my guy Bo Nix in the 10th. Fergie and Goddard at tight end, some NFC East tight ends who I'm hoping will be better than last year. I mean, Goddard was, for the most part, fine when he played. Fergie was okay, not good, but Dak was hurt. Kamara Mixon, Brian Robinson, Najee, Rashad White. There's definitely somebody, if they see this, who will absolutely hate this running back room. I like Kamara's ADP. Mixon, I still think is okay. I like Brian Robinson as ADP. I think Najee is going to get a lot more touches than people think, and I don't need to spend any time talking about Rashad White. Neighbors, AJ Brown, Marvin Harrison, Jordan Addison, Bateman. Generally, I like 6 wide receivers in this format. I would draft 4 running backs, or I would not draft 2 tight ends, but I like this wide receiver room. So starting Bo Nix, one of the 2 tight ends, Kamara and Mixon, Neighbors, Brown, MH, Addison. If Addison's suspended, then I got a couple running backs. Probably flex Brian Robinson. So, all right, every team. There you guys go. Good draft tonight, guys. I will try and use this draft for a video either this week or next. So make sure you guys are keeping your eyes posted. The last mock draft we did, I used for Sunday's video if anyone is interested. But yeah, great draft tonight. Great stream. Actually had some football topics tonight. And I guess that will do it. Thoughts on Mason Taylor and the Jets? I like Mason Taylor a lot, actually. I think in terms of like a rookie tight end that can step in and get immediate volume, I think he's also a really good prospect too.
Lots of upside. Lots of upside.
Yeah. And he's a good receiving prospect. So he's a player who, in terms of, like, I mean, obviously, we've got, Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren, but I think it's basically like Mason Taylor. And then the tight end on the Rams, was it Ferguson? I think those are the guys that I'm looking at right now who have the best pathway in terms of rookie tight ends. Obviously, Warren and Loveland, but Mason Taylor and then Tyler Ferguson, or Terrence Ferguson, sorry. You do have that Elijah Ario on Seattle, and some people like Harold Fannin on Cleveland.
Harold Fannin Jr. That's one.
Yeah, there's some other names out there too, but yeah, I like Mason Taylor a lot. I don't know in redraft settings quite yet, but I do like him. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, hit the like on the way out. We're going to have plenty of content coming out over the next couple of weeks, so make sure you guys are checking out the videos. We'll have some shorts coming out, and we'll continue to do an Underdog stream either Saturday or Sunday night, and then a subscriber mock either Monday or Tuesday. So just make sure you guys are staying posted on Discord. But thank you guys for hanging out tonight. Thank you guys for talking some fantasy and drafting with us. Pete, I'll let you say bye, and we'll get on out of here.
Yep. Great draft tonight, guys. Good mocking with you. Yo, all the content coming out. You guys have no idea. You're going to be overwhelmed with our beautiful faces and voices in your feed over the next few months as we roll into the NFL season.
Yeah, you might actually be. My plan is to overwhelm you guys. So
you're going to be sick of us.
Yeah. All right, guys. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, yes, odd here on the catch. And peace.